Hey guys, it's Garvin's Garage, and today we're changing the oil on our 2003 Dodge Ram 2500 with the 5.9 Cummins Diesel. And the supplies you need are, first off, an oil filter, and we got the Donaldson Endurance Series, and the model number is ELF 7349. And this is just the older model of the Donaldson Blue, which just means that it's a synthetic nanofiber media in the filter, which just allows it to last longer and filter better. And we got 1 gallon of full synthetic for Christmas, but we need 3 gallons, so that didn't cut it. So we got some oil from Farm and Fleet, and this is 5 gallons. So we're gonna use 2 gallons of this, so then we have 3 gallons for the next time we change it, and that's just conventional oil. And then you're gonna need a funnel, a bigger one, so it flows better. And then you might need a oil filter wrench if it's hard to get off, but I think we'll be fine. And then a screwdriver to poke a hole in the bottom of the oil filter. Since the filter is so big, there's gonna be a ton of oil in there, so you don't spill any when you're draining it. And then a torque wrench for when you tighten the oil drain bolts, and a rake for cleanup. Okay, now you gotta locate the oil filter, which here's the oil pan, here's the air conditioner on the passenger side of the vehicle, and then directly towards the back of the vehicle, there's the oil filter right there. And what we're gonna do is place the screwdriver right in the middle of it. We're gonna tap a little hole in it. Okay, we ended up using a Phillips instead of just a regular screwdriver because it wasn't sharp enough, and then it went through perfectly, and it's making a nice clean straight flow line. It's not making too much of a mess like you would have without doing this step. And now to drain the oil, you want to get a 3/8 inch breaker bar and just free it up. And then once it's loose, just remove your wrench and then unscrew it. And it's going to be a lot of oil. And if you warmed your engine up before you drained it, watch and make sure it's not hot because you don't want to burn yourself. But we only ran it for like a couple seconds just because we had to roll it back in our garage, so we don't have to worry about that. And I recommend replacing your drain bolt so you don't accidentally strip it out and then you're not able to drain your oil. And once you're to the end, just move it out of the way and let it flow. Also, maybe take off your valve cover oil fill cap. That helps it flow a lot. So to get the oil filter off, since it's been on there since like we bought it, which is basically a year ago, it's like stuck on there. So what we're gonna do is we clamped oil filter wrench, vice clamps onto the oil filter, and then somehow we line this up perfectly. So this tube goes all the way to the end of that clamp. So now all I'm gonna do is hit this with a hammer, and that's gonna turn the oil filter. Okay, so what we had to do is, this was on the truck, and then we could clamp this on from the fender, and then we got this pipe through that hole like we explained earlier. And what we had to do is push from right here, and it would spin this barely. And the person before us with the truck didn't put oil on here because we got it from a dealer. The dealer did it, and they didn't put oil around here, and it was stuck on super hard, so we couldn't get it off. And we had to do this probably like 5 to 10 times, and then we had to just start doing it by hand from the inner fender. And then after that, I could put a rag on it and hand on thread it the rest of the way, and then oil flowed pretty fast while I was doing that. I think it was because like air was able to go through here. Anyway, and that be ready to have a drain pan, and then we got it off. So once you have the oil filter off, what you want to do is clean the surface that the gasket goes up against the filter housing. So just grab a clean rag and wipe it off. Just get it really good. Okay, now that you have the old filter off and the mating surface clean, you want to fill this filter almost all the way. But not all the way, just so the person that's putting it on doesn't get all full of oil. And a little more. Okay, stop. And a little more. Oh, we'll just... It takes about a quart. It's absorbing a lot. Just make sure you don't overfill it. So that'll make a huge mess and also make it harder to put on. And once you have it full, like we basically do right now, what you want to do is just dip your pinky in there and wipe some around the gasket so it's easy to take off when you do have to, because like the people before us, the dealers surprisingly didn't know, or they just didn't do it, so then it was super hard for us to take it off. Put a liberal amount on too, because it makes it a world of a difference when you're taking it off the next time. And now we're going to fill it a little more because it soaked in. And I think we're good, yeah. Okay, now once you have the oil filter all prepared to go on the vehicle, just route your oil filter up to the filter housing. And it might be hard to get up there, but you'll get it eventually. And then you gotta line it up with the threads. And then just start threading it on. And then once you have it in the correct spot, just hand tighten it on. And for this filter, I think it's different for every filter, but once it touches the filter housing, once the filter gasket touches the filter housing, you want to do one full 360-degree rotation, and then that's all you want to do. You don't want to tighten it any further than that, or else you won't be able to get it off. So I have it on, and then I'm going to do one full rotation. Now once the oil is all drained and you got the filter back on, I'm just going to wipe down the area just to make sure that there's no dirt on it, and I'm going to make sure that the threads are clean. And then grab your drain bolt and just hand thread it in. And the manual says like 60 foot-pounds of torque, but other people say that that's too much and that it only needs 40 to 45, so we're going to do 40. And here's our torque wrench. And now it's all tight, so then you can wipe off the oil that's left, and then you should be good. Okay, now to fill it, you have to put 12 quarts of oil in, and we're going to start off with just putting in a little less than a gallon. Oh, that could have been bad. And we're just going to let that sit, and then we're going to fill it up with the rest of the oil. So our method of putting the oil into the truck is just grabbing one of these, whatever they're measuring cups, and just dipping the whole thing in and filling it up as much as possible, and then letting it sit for a little. And then I'm just gonna carry it and dump it into the truck. And then we're just gonna do that over and over again until we have 2 gallons of oil in. And that's how you change your oil in a 2003 Dodge Ram 2500 Cummins Diesel. Click here to subscribe and click here to watch your last video.